All right, hi everyone. We are presenting our undergraduate research today. We are taking a look at, is GPA linked to the development of design thinking? My name is Naya Winkelstein. I am a sophomore in metallurgy and materials engineering.
My name is Amanda Blickensturfer. I'm a sophomore in mechanical engineering.
My name is Colin, and I'm a sophomore in computer science.
All right, so we're going to start off with a quick introduction. So first, we're going to talk about what is Seed Lab. Seed Lab is a senior design course in the electrical engineering department. It is a capstone-based course, which means that it is a hands-on project-based course. So students work through to complete these course objectives and make a fully functional engineering design of whatever they choose. Usually it's robots. So senior design in Seed Lab works on engineering thinking and engineering thought. And so those are things such as prototyping, experimentation, research, collaboration, and planning for technical failure. So understanding how to go through a full engineering process and a full engineering project while accounting for things like setbacks is a main thing in learning in Seed Lab. So engineering design and thinking, understanding what a capstone project is and how it better prepares students for real engineering design. So capstone courses like Seed Lab allow for students to work hands-on, which gives them experience, which translates very highly into the workplace. And so this first article goes through why teaching engineering design through capstone courses is so important and how those inner workings work. This second article, Engineering Design Thinking, Teaching, and Learning, goes through how engineering thinking skills that align with Seed Lab, so those things that I mentioned before, collaboration, planning for technical failure, prototyping, etc., can be highly effective in teaching students design thought. And this third article discusses how pre-post skills can be viable. So Seed Lab scoring is based off a pre-post method, and so students write one response at the beginning of the semester and one response at the end of the semester. And so the beginning creates a point of reference that we can then see how they grow throughout the semester. And engineering design can be described as teamwork, planning, and technical thinking. And so understanding how to put those thoughts down is really important for scoring. And so understanding how engineers communicate and can communicate effectively is also highly valued during Seed Lab. So we're going to talk about GPA for a second. GPA is a grade point average. It culminates throughout your time at whatever institution you are working at. So understanding that GPA can affect how students go through a curriculum is really important. So this first article goes through how the Perry method, which discusses how students grow as they go through college, GPA is a factor in this scoring, is determined that Perry scores went up significantly when students had engineering hands-on curriculums. So that's really important in understanding how courses like Seed Lab can affect GPA, but they can also affect a student's well-roundedness and growth. And then this second study is how GPA and SAT scores in high school predict performance in freshmen. And this allows us to understand that there may be a prior link between GPA and performance in the classroom and how our coded responses may reflect that scoring. And so this leads me to our research question of, is GPA linked to the development of design skills in Seed Lab?
Our research is based around a senior design capstone course. The standard of measurement is a writing prompt that the students of this course were assigned at the beginning and end of the class, creating a reference point. We pulled from a pool of 68 participants. We started by categorizing the design process, separating it into 5 distinguishable skills: research, prototyping, experimentation, and planning for technical failure. This rubric was then designed in order to standardize our scoring process. The participants were scored on a scale from 0 to 3. They received a lower mark if they did not recognize the need for a skill, and a higher mark if they articulated specific strategies of applying this skill, such as portioning out subsystems to encourage collaboration. The first 3 weeks of scoring were used as a calibration period. We would compare our results with our research professor's scores. After this phase, our group evaluated 3 sets of papers at a time. Individually, we would each grade 2 sets. The third member would act as a mediator in a weekly discussion. We would then decide on a final score. This is an example of how we would highlight and grade each paper. We use the scores from the start and end of the semester to measure improvements in recognition of the importance of design skills. We were able to describe our results using linear regression models.
In order to analyze our results, we used 2 slightly different analyses based on 2 slight modifications of our original research question. Our first modification was, is GPA a predictor of total score improvement from pre to post? This was a gain-based model, and based on this model, we found that no, GPA was not a significant predictor of total score improvement. You can see the results of our linear regression model there on the left. Note that all of our p-values are about 0.5, which is not considered significant. Furthermore, this model explained only 0.47% of the variance in our data, which is relatively low. The other modification of our research question was, is GPA a predictor of post-score when controlled for pre-score? This is a regression-based model, and based on this model, we found that GPA was a significant predictor for post-score when controlled for pre-score. You can see the results for a multiple linear regression model here on the right. Note that all of our p-values are below typical significance thresholds. Furthermore, this model explained 24% of the variance in our data, which is significantly higher than the variance explained by our gain-based model. What's significantly striking about our results is that we performed 2 similar analyses, but we reached 2 very different conclusions. However, based on research into the types of statistical analysis that we did, we found that the gain-based model we created is likely more appropriate in this case. And that's because we observe a correlation between our predictor, GPA, and the pre-score. What this causes is a regression artifact where we will observe significant results in our regression-based model where we control for pre-score and predict post-score. Whereas in our gain-based model where we predict improvement from GPA and we don't notice a significant result. And so because our gain-based model is more appropriate and it did not find a correlation between GPA and total improvement, we conclude that we do not find evidence of a link between GPA and developing design skills in Seedlab. Because we did observe a correlation between GPA and pre-score, we do think there's a potential for an unmeasured factor here to be causing the positive correlation between GPA, pre-score, and post-score that we observed in our data. So why do our results matter? Why are they important, and how can they be applied? So first and foremost, our results suggest that GPA does not affect the ability for one to learn design skills. So people that may have earned lower GPAs because they struggled in technical courses are able to learn design skills just as their peers, their peers who may have earned higher GPAs from excelling in those same technical courses. GPA is not going to inhibit anyone's ability to learn design skills. However, though, we did observe a correlation between GPA and pre-scores, and what that means is that students will be coming into senior design or capstone courses with varying levels of initial design skills based on their GPA or correlated with their GPA. So here we have provided the citations in our presentation. Thank you very much for taking interest in our project, and please let us know if you have any questions about our work.